Okay, well, I'm really glad I did that because the audio was all messed up. It turns out that on the receiver end, the volume buttons really do contribute to how much input sound there is, and it was way too high and all I had was distortion. So now it's good. It's actually pretty far down. I figured that was giving the lowest amount of background and still able to hear me really well, since the microphone is pinned right here, right on my collar. So let's just try something else now, move on. Tell you what, I feel tired, but I'm gonna try to do Vase. Let's see, I'll grab a piece of soapstone here. And kind of draw out what I'm thinking. It'll be fun. Got to worry about those colors a little bit. Maybe that contributed. The last tumbler had a problem on the break off, but I'll have to see if that continues. So I just want nice shoulders here. Bring this down. I want it to be fairly big. So nice taper, and then just up here like this. So I'm gonna have to double neck it and then drop it down, probably do a little swinging, a little marvering to pull it out. And as far as the colors, I'm gonna use those blues and just see how it works. I think I'm gonna forgo anything but just the blue colors and put it in the optic mold. I want to just try something pretty straightforward with these colors and see if it even works out. I'm going to use the red pipe here, not the biggest, but the second biggest that I have. Glory is really hot. You always can worry about color compatibility, but you know, I think I've even used these colors before. It was just, I didn't reheat that tumbler enough, so it cracked when I went to pick it up. So, really hope this microphone works out. Starter gather, but let's do a gather and a half, so not to keep doing all those gathers. Let it skin up, get a little skin on the outside to hold that molten glass in. It doesn't just go running right back into the furnace. Try to collect as much on there as I can. It still strings off a lot, but it's a much bigger gather than just your single first gather. Alright, now we're getting somewhere. Number 6 to the rescue. Pull that glass off a little bit. Blocks are so awesome. Love blocks. It's got a lot of bubbles in this glass, not your paperweight glass. Paperweights always want to be real clear. Come on, bubble. There it is. It's not bad. Don't feel like I have the rhythm today, you know what I'm saying? Maybe I'll get it. Just a little off. Had a big work week, some good results, and you know, your mind can kind of get filled with that. I've always kind of thought that I had a real ability to focus and turn things off to be able to get done what I need to do, so I'll see how that works out today. But I tell you, it ain't gonna be easy. Not so worried about Millhouse today. My little puppy, he's inside chilling off. He had quite an adventure this morning. Chasing the ground squirrels. They're finally coming out of their little holes. And he had one. He was on its tail. It was pretty cute. That's a nice bunch of glass right there. So once I get all this colored up, I'm going to encase it again, and that's going to be a big piece. Good. Probably need to put the blow hose on at some point. Like I said, just not quite with it all the way, you know? Not thinking ahead, that step. So we'll get there. And it's not hard to add it, put it on later. The blow hose, that is. It's actually a lot easier to work without it. I'm gonna have to see how it and the mic get along. I think I'll do light blue at the top. Kind of get that purple on the bottom here. What the heck? Mix it up a little bit. And now it is optic mold time. Gotta melt it in a little bit though. I hope that's a good angle. Not looking just right back at my shoulder again. I think it gets a little bit of the marver, or at least the color box too. Color table. Okay, let's get it in that mold before I get too much heat out of it. Deep lines cut into this thing. Rock it around. It's on top of something. I don't know what it's sitting on. A piece of glass. You can see how that pinched the bubble. I'm gonna have to blow that back out. Let it fall down on its own a little bit. And get it off the pipe, chill the middle, and then twist it. Turn the pipe without letting it move, and that gives it a twist, because this is a liquid, more or less. It's like clay. A lot of potters and glass blowers interchange what they do. I like that. A little more twisted. Chilling the tip. Gotta put a little more air back into it, get that bubble back. I see it. Just don't want to get too much stuck down in the bottom. Once the top of it gets all blown out, a real thin lip. Not what you want on a vase. It's not a goblet. Nice little color setup. We'll get one more gather. shaping this thing up. Just kind of wait for the red color to kind of fade before you want to do this other gather. But if you have it hot enough, it's actually easier to take a gather and then just let some strip off. If it's real cold, that glass will just stick to it. But if it's real hot, relatively hot, you can get that glass off of there pretty well and get a third gather that's not so huge. I was a little worried about that. I didn't get quite down far enough with that gather. And try to push the glass back on there. Do a little push while I'm arbor. Just fold that glass back over. Conserve it back up the pipe. And it's in a good position though. It's going to be right where I put the jack line in. This is a pretty big chunk of glass here for not being blown out. Crack the door just a little. Just want to get a good consistent heat to start this thing blowing. Chill the bottom a little bit and then just kind of start blowing it out before I put the jack line in. I'll try to use my number 10 block on it. Fits nicely. Shape up that top a little better. Working it hot, working it wiggling. Chill the top a little bit. And now I'll just rest it on the rail and nice blow. Chill that a little more. Got a good start on the blow here. I'm ready for a nice jack line to be put into this baby. Use those little jacks this time. Feels like that water's just dripping right out of that paper, evaporating. Too cold. Put it right up against the door, get that reflective, real hot heat. I can already see it moving around pretty good. Again, I want to use all the rails that I can. I'm getting a nice jack line put in now. Start that second jack line. Stretch this thing out. losing some shape here. One of the first things I'll do once I get the jack lines in is give that a nice shape up. Actually, I'm going to blow this out a little bit now. Come back to that jack line. Time to get the blowpipe hose on. So I want to expand this part here before I stretch out that neck too much, because at this point there's just too much glass up there. If I don't stretch it out, it's going to just be real thick, almost hard to open up. Kind of something I learned or remembered being a problem the last time I did this. I'll swing it down a little bit too to stretch that out. But I don't want to lose the shoulders, that's the problem. Once those shoulders are gone, you have a hard time getting that back. Working that heat. Blow hose in. Keep doing this wrong. There we go. Shoot. Put the heat back in. That's why you want to put that thing on before you're working a piece. I'm sure that just looked real coordinated. Shake this thing up a little bit on the marber. Puffed it out a little bit. Go ahead and start that jack line. Don't want it to get too big, it'll get unwieldy. perfect, but it ain't bad now. I'll try to shape it up a little more. Try to stretch it a little bit more. Let's do that. Maybe I can stretch it on the marver a little bit. Yeah, that worked. That thud sound is not good. That's a cold noise. We want to flatten our shoulders out. I got to shape this up a little bit more. I don't like this right here, but I'm going to have to work with it here. Just didn't handle that stretching of the neck very well. But again, I'm in that mode of trying to fix. So I'll try to fix it. It's got a lot of jack line marks in it and stuff. I don't know. We'll get it. At least I got it on center somewhat. got a lot of glass on the bottom, that's good. And some people will stretch out this kind of form by grabbing the bottom at an early point and just pulling. But I've tried that and it's tricky. It gets it done fast if you know the heat. And you're real good with that heat, man. You can just pull that sucker out. I think I can get it a little bigger. Seems like it's straightening out a little bit now. I told you it was a lot of glass. That's bigger. I'm going to put a little heat in it and go check it out on the bench. Ugh. Surprisingly straight. I mean, of course it's straight. I am a master glass blower. Right. That is a term that gets tossed around an awful lot. I'd have a hard time calling myself an artist, much less a master glass blower. This is one of those that looks like it's so close to perfect, but it's just never going to get there. So you just kind of got to take what you can get. I'll try to shape it a little bit more, but I don't want it to get wonky. I'll just hang it down, let gravity try to shape it up. Sometimes that's the best tool you got. Gravity and heat. You can sure put a nice taper on something, nice and even taper on something. Alright, let's work those sides a little more and then flatten the bottom. I think it looks pretty straight right now. It'll be interesting to see if I can finish off the top somewhat decently. I haven't had that much double neck to work with. It's always tough with the twist too. I don't know, the color tends to lump a little bit and not pull out real straight. I don't know. It's a tricky color technique to do when you're doing a double neck face. I've had success with it. Really like the way it looks, but boy, it can be tricky. watching all those videos on YouTube, getting really jealous of all the people with so many helpers to give them shield support on the arm and everything. We don't have that here. I burn my arm and I don't care. My mama cares. But I'm not wearing the gloves or sleeves. I earn my scars. Turning that pipe. It seems so big now, and I take it out of the annealer. It seemed like a little vase. I'm just gonna go after that one more time. I think I need to turn on my propane tank. So I'm gonna hang this thing up for a second, do a couple reheats. I wanna make sure the top of this thing's good and hot so I don't have a repeat of what happened on that little tumbler. That would not be good on a piece this big. I just heard it crack too, damn. So that's not good at all. That's what happens. Just want to keep it from spreading too far. Maybe heal it if you can. This will be the best thing I can do for it, is turn this thing on. Bad timing. Okay, now I can really put some heat in that thing, which it desperately needs. Oh, you're just so close to being able to make something nice. Sometimes it gets you really excited about the future, but frustrated with the present. All I'm going to do is throw a bunch of heat into this neck. Reheat it again. Looks like it's healing up pretty good. I don't want the neck to get floppy, then it's kind of, it's starting to move a little bit. Better not let it get too crazy. Yeah, it's definitely moving. You can kind of lose your shape that way, but I guess that's what you say is about as far as I can take it. So I'll give a good reheat to it. Hang it and try to move it off of this pipe. Definitely floppy now. Hopefully it goes straight back down. Make it easier to get the punny on and keep it straight. You have to reach out pretty far to get that top worked on. But again, I'd like to not have the punny quite so dang hot that it wants to melt into the bottom of the piece. That's what I'm thinking of right now. So it's tricky. I'd rather not lose the piece actually, so let's get it going here. Pretty hot, you know, we'll just have to play with it. Tricky, tricky. Nice and thin up there, I know that. There we go. I think it's okay. That's a long one, I'll tell you that. Still flopping because that dang punny's so hot. Just glad to get it on the punny. Interesting way the purple is mixing with it. I kind of like that. But I'm going to have some work to do up here at the top. I'm going to trim that. Looks like it fell on center pretty easy. Won't be hard to keep that end out of the fire. It's so long. So it'll not get floppy again. Now some people will work that punny with the jacks. Man, that scares me. You gotta really know what you're doing. See, they'll take that punny and put a little knockoff line. Whew. Oh, I lost a little glass there at the top. Still a little frisky. Not too much. I think it just kind of popped off a little bit. So just gotta watch it here. I may not be talking very much. Keep flashing it. Keep that from being a problem. I'll hit it with the torch also when I'm finished at the bench. Just keep the heat in this booger. And hope I get it off the punny into the annealer. Some good heat up there so I can pull it out, get a nice even lip. This would be a nice place for someone to bring me a lip wrap, but I am not going to mess with that myself. Not today. Just keep cutting. Turn the pipe and keep cutting. It's really uneven right here. I'm hoping I can paper that in. So I'm gonna have to go a little deeper into the furnace to do that. I don't want the top to shut. That would be terrible. So I'm gonna watch that top. I'm gonna open it up a little bit to just keep that from happening. But at the same time, I want a little bit of heat in the shoulders of this thing so I can shape it up with the paper. There it's starting to go. I better get it out of there. Hang it down so it stretches out instead of folding in on itself a little bit. Get it open. Oh yeah. Yeah, the paper's a wonderful thing, man. Paper is a wonderful, wonderful thing. Now we'll go for that lip shape that I just showed you. I think I'm done on those shoulders. Really. But I do want to be able to bring out the whole piece, the whole lip. So, you know, and this is always, you get so many few tries at this, and you end up screwing it up so often. It's hard to get to this point in practice, you know. This is This is the only time you get to practice it after you've done all this other stuff and you're so scared you're going to lose the piece. Chill the shoulders a little bit. Come in here. Nice so far. That was in my way, which wasn't good. Now I'm just going to really open it up. I really like all the stripes going all the way to the top on this thing. I think I'll be able to really open that up now. Get it nice and flat. Just really only want to heat that part. See what it looks like. Don't want to heat too much. Don't need to heat too much. And now I'm not so interested in dropping it down. The honey's getting a little fried. It's nice to have two people working it on this edge. That's what I got. A little more touch up. I just want that thing flattened out. A little more heat. I can hear that damn punny clicking. I got a big punny though, so it's just the back of it that's doing that. Got that nice. There goes that punny. I think that's pretty good. I'm not going to mess with it anymore. I'm going to give it a couple good reheats. Definitely a big vase. Came right off. Oh, God, it got another crack. Damn. I just don't know if those colors are too happy with each other. Shoot. Right down in the bottom, it cracked. I guess I should have hit it with some more torch heat, but that's the way that goes.